No. Who's issuing the projector? This projector taking the screen's not moving.
Okay, we all set?
I tried to wake everybody up.
Yeah, right? Yeah, they were here just for the hardware, so if there's some open space in the front here.
Slow it down. Slow it down.
Yeah, please. In fact, do you want to tell everybody about it, or?
I could. We got a couple guys doing those. Are we good those?
Okay, go ahead. I'll do this then. Good. So, if you haven't received it yet, there's this piece of paper here that will pass around, and it's about this show special, or the training special, if you will. And it's on what you guys are here now about to see, Compass Control. It's our starter kit for Compass, if you will. You're going to see there's various reasons why you ultimately want to have your own system or your company's own system. And again, where Key Digital's here paying for my hotel, and I like all the craft beer, so Key Digital's spending a lot of money on my beer tab, and you guys are taking time out of your day as well, okay, to be here. This is the way that you can recoup some of that time that you've invested, some of that money that you've invested, because the CC Kit 1000 we're selling for $199.99. Regularly, dealer cost is $875. Okay, so there's a big profit, added profit margin in this area if you do resell this, or even if you want to begin Compass Control, and you're going to see just how easy it is and whatnot. This is the best way to buy in for that. Okay, so there you are. Now, did these come in yet? Here, do you guys know? It's like here Monday, if not today.
I was going to say it was supposed to arrive Friday, but yeah, I don't know for sure.
So you potentially could even leave with one. Otherwise, get the order in today, and you'll have it say Monday. Okay. So if you guys don't mind passing those around, very good. Okay. So far I've been talking about Compass Control as a supplement to our video hardware. Well, as I mentioned, Compass Control has actually brought Key Digital into more projects than ever before. And Compass Control, where Key Digital is a 16-year-old company, Compass Control is a 3-year-old product. Now, some folks look at that and say, well, I've been working with these other control systems, and they're 20 or 30 years old, or 40 years old even, and as far as the Crestrons of the world go, and that kind of thing. And their product's only 3 years old. Well, I'll tell you, number one, for anybody who's ever used it, they'll tell you exactly how mature it is. It's very mature for its age. And number two, we see Compass Control, we see the advantage, the benefit of coming in, say, 3 years ago, at a time where we already knew this had to be network-based. So we're not confronted by the whole RF/IP, square peg in a round hole situation. And we also knew that this thing was released at a time where... okay, sorry. Step back, rewind. This thing is released at a time where your clients and what you're delivering is not, hey, I'm looking for somebody to do this on this brand's touchscreen. They want it on their tablet, right? On their iOS device. And now, coming soon, we're going to have it on Android as well. Okay? So we're at a time here where this is very beneficial for us. Instead of having to redesign the whole system, we came in at a time where we knew these were the requirements that was needed. And again, Compass Control can fit into so many different applications because it's not only IP like some apps are, we have the hardware as well. The hardware you need to make a real control system, not a end-user control program that they control app. So for certification and training, some of you guys have your laptops open, great. In fact, can you pass the USB around? Okay, great. Well, there was two folders on here. One of them was called Compass Control, and the other is called Key Digital _ Compass Control. The one that just says Compass Control, that is all of the training content, as if you came to New York, which I'll explain, all on here, okay? The software, FAQs, all this stuff. The other folder, if you don't want to take it or you don't need to, it's the Key Digital _ Compass Control. That is the presentations today, Okay, the first thing we just did and the next thing after that. There you go there, Steve. Sorry about that. So, certification and training. Just because I'm passing this around doesn't mean you can actually use the software yet. You still need to go on the Key Digital's website to get started, okay? And when after you're getting started, you can gain your level C, Compass 1, C2, C3 trainings in 2 options, online or in-house. You come to New York, again, free 99 the training is. All you got to do is get there, okay? We're covering the training, the hotel, breakfast, lunch, dinner, even at the end of the night. The training room becomes a game room. We have some cocktails, play some cards, all that good stuff, okay? So it's a real way to unplug from here, because we know how hard it is to do that, and go out there. And even for the partners of the world like Skywalker, we find it best if you come out with your dealers, and it really solidifies that, okay? Compass Level 1 is a basic introduction, and we even show you programming in our modular drag and drop method, like what I'll be able to show you today. Very simple. Compass Level 2 is where you take the next step. Your client wants to, integrate something that's brand new, IR, RS, whatever it is, but maybe we don't have those codes yet. As Eric asked me earlier, how many codes do you have? We have 160,000 different devices already. But there's always something that, you know it, that might not be in there. You learn Compass Level 2, and you're able to IR remotes, RS-232 codes, TCP/IP codes. You're never limited to what you can use, what you can control with Compass. We teach it in C2, and then C3 is if you like to program a system not in our modular method that we teach in C1, but instead if you have this vision of what your company's control system looks like, your control interface for your client, and you wanted to make your own app from scratch, that's what Compass can enable. So there's nothing else like Compass at the price point that has these 2 options of the full custom systems or the simplistic drag and drop. So folks that come out to our training, you know, this person used RTI, and how do you compare it? More flexible, more options. How do you compare Compass Control's ease of use? It's comparable ease of use. This person came to the modular system, for example. It's comparable to the RTIs of the world. And of course, how do you rate the training? 5 out of 5, they say. And so that just pumps my tire, okay? Here's somebody more. Oh, jeez, I got rid of that slide. More from the commercial side, Crestron and Extron, and even a Control 4 guy. How would you compare Compass Control's flexibility? Very strong. Some limitations when it comes to button panels, but more flexible in controlling devices. What does that mean? Well, like I said, Crestron will have a catalog this big. There's just no way we can match every single one of those, okay? But if you're a Crestron dealer, we're not asking you to stop selling Crestron. We'd never dream of that. But we're going to have a nice complementary offering that allows you to meet those price points, okay? Not every job has a Crestron budget, right? So that's the kind of thing. And how did you compare it? It's easy to understand. It's the best I have seen. Another advantage of having a modern software, okay? So just a little bit about it before we get into the system. Now, at this point in time, everybody's got their own app. Whether it's a control system or even just all these IP network devices have their own apps. What separates Compass Control from the other control systems that have an app is that we make the brains of the system in the iPad. The brains, the control processor is the iPad itself, meaning if you have 5 iPads, you have 5 of the best processors in the market as your control system. There's no way that any other product that places the intelligence in the hardware like the others do can match that, okay? So the iPad itself, and think about who was using Apple even when they were hurting, the folks who needed processing for video editing and audio editing, right? So we put it in each and every iOS device, the intelligence, the pages, the libraries, the commands, okay? And so for example, because the commands live in the iPad, if you have an IP device on your system, the iPad's going to talk directly to it over the network. It doesn't utilize any ports of that control process, of our master controller, I should say. Okay? You can have 40 of them and still just have one little piece of hardware in there. Okay? All the controllers live on the network, whether it's the black box, the master controller, or the iOS device. It means you just keep adding them. And they just need a unique IP address on that network. Global IP communication, so your customer has a house in Arizona, because they follow the Skywalker locations, of course. They want to control or monitor Arizona from St. Louis, no problem. It's over global IP, and we're actually developing DDNS right now. Okay?
So it's non-functional at the moment, but...
Well, global is available.
Okay.
Using a global IP address, a static IP address.
Yeah.
But DDNS will be coming shortly, so as an optional, another option of doing it.
Is it going to be offered for free, or is it going to be a paid service?
There's probably going to be a pay service, like $3, something like that. You know, something very inexpensive. Now, because there are also, you know, handheld, the handheld remote of the system, because there's also a handheld remote in our system, very utilitarian, very much like a universal remote control kind of thing. Okay. For those folks that, you know, the residential side, I'll be honest, we were selling Compass probably 65% commercial, 35% residential. And that objection from the residential side was, I just need this. Remote in one hand, beer in the other, and I'm happy, right? So for those folks, we have this here. And so because of that, we had to develop in our MC1000 the ability for this device to be the processor in the system. So here I press a button over Zigbee, it's communicated through our remote or in our antenna what button was pressed, and the MC1000 has those events stored in it, the macros. Additionally, when you have an iPad, I can do things on the remote like turn on the room and have, through variables being stored and shared in the MC1000, have the iPad update a red button to a green button or whatnot. Indicating the status of the system. I can have events and actions stored in here without any remote being pressed, like scheduling events, okay, in the MC1000. So when you start working with Compass, you kind of have to think about it as in terms of where is the controller, where's the brains of this operation? I press it from the remote, or I'm doing something on the iPad. That's going to be shifted, okay? Now, what are the benefits of Compass Control? One of the biggest benefits is this. Our Compass Alliance partners. We're not a company like some of those other companies that say, hey, now we're selling shades, you need to buy all of our shades. We know that you guys don't like to be told what to buy, okay? And furthermore, we rely on our integrators and their projects, our distributors and their core lines.
If you're looking for somebody to tell you what to buy, I'd be happy to give you some.
You got business cards?
I did.
So we rely on our partners and our integrators to tell us what are the biggest brands they're using in each category. We partner with those because we know that even if we start putting out shades, there's going to be somebody who's been doing it for longer and therefore doing it better than we are, right? So we integrate, we have all these alliance partners. This is a totally incomplete list at this point, so you'll want to just go to our website and you'll see it there with all of our partners. And then there's these systems like a Lutron and Leviton of the world, where we know that you had to go to their training to learn how to do it, and programming it twice would be a pain in the neck. So what we do with a lot of those products is they have a means of exporting a report, putting it in our software, and everything comes in. Bidirectional feedback, the graphics are already done, the feedback's attached to the graphics, the buttons have all the correct commands on it. So I don't care if you did a Lutron homework system with hundreds of lights and thermostats and shades and everything, comes in, everything's attached as it should be. Just drag and drop in this modular program, okay? Now, who here really gets into the geekiness of programming? So this is, this is the stuff here that sometimes people raise their hand and really, oh, you can do string variables. That's every ASCII character. Okay, so the folks who have used Crestron even, they say it's the Crestron capabilities, Okay, you're not sacrificing anything. With the ease of use, probably more along the lines of in the commercial world, the Extrons, in the residential world, the URCs. Okay. So there is that USB going around. If you have a laptop here, just copy that on over, and it's going to give you, of all things, it's going to give you our software installer. And so when you're looking at our software, number one of the more ironic things about Compass Control is the interfaces are iOS, but the programming is PC. Okay? I don't see any Macs here, so the Mac users usually get a good chuckle by that. But they already all have. I think you had a Mac, didn't you? No, you're Windows. Yeah, that's right. You're the Windows guy. They already have their virtual machine software and everything. Another thing is you're going to want to be doing it on a computer with a wide screen. And when you run that installer, which by the way, that USB is called Compass Control version 1.1.17 MSI, Microsoft Software Installer. When you run that, you're going to end up with 5 icons on your screen. Compass Navigator is where I'll spend most of the time when I demo this for you, where you build the program, your GUI, the devices that are in your system for your job. The others are the managers. My master controller manager, I'll spend a quick moment in there because I need to set up an IP address or download new firmware in there. The IR, RS, and IP managers, this is where you do those new code sets, learning IR remotes and that kind of thing, okay? So I mentioned earlier, Compass Control gives you the option of either a custom project or a modular project, okay? In custom, the iPad's a blank palette. In the modular-based project, you're bringing modules over. So you say, oh, I have a Sony Blu-ray player in the system. And that comes over not only as a code set of commands that you have to put on buttons, it comes over as a fully completed GUI with the commands already on it, with bidirectional feedback attached to the appropriate elements, buttons, sliders, etc. Okay? And another huge benefit of Compass Control's modules is every screen in iOS is accounted for already. iPad, all sizes, iPhone, all sizes, even the 6 and 6 Plus, the iPod Touch. What we don't have is the watch, though. We're not really planning to do that. We're focusing instead on going into Droid, which will be available around Q1. Probably going to start with the Samsung Galaxy devices on there. Yeah. That's the thing about Droid, right? The screen sizes, it's like, you can't just support something. You have to actually build the layout of, each of the pages or screen sizes. So.
And then Windows Phone right behind it, right?
Right behind it. For you, my man. Okay? Now, another software you have to consider with us is the app. And if you have your iOS device here or at the office, you're going to want to download the Compass Control app. You'll search Compass Control. It's free of charge, and it's the best sales tool you'll have because you go to Get Demo, and it's loaded with, 8 right now? 8 demos in there, and we cycle those out. And so you might have, Steve, a residential client in the morning, a conference room in the afternoon, and a bar restaurant in the evening, and you timed it out so you're there at happy hour. You could go through here and one by one get a different demo for each meeting and show them Compass Control and some potential GUI looks and feels for that. And another great feature of this is, well, you would need the internet to pull this down. So when you pull it down, you add it to our archive, and then you can store it in without having internet access. We basically load it to the memory of our app. And that could be demos, or it could be if you have the client with the Phoenix home and the St. Louis home, and when they go to Phoenix, they just enter their archive. I'm in Phoenix, and it's a live system. Okay? It's not only demos in that archive. So that's how you could jump from one job to the next, whether it's with your clients and troubleshooting calls throughout a day or whatnot, or demos, or your client themselves having multiple locations. Now, the app is free, but we have a licensing structure. Okay? The license is what turns a demo app. The customer started salivating, they love it. You do your programming, you need to load it into their iPad or iOS device, into a live controller. Okay? It needs a license. It's per iOS device. Okay, so if you have 5 iPads, 5 licenses, and the retail is $200 on each license. Okay, and now we have to do it per iOS, not per project. We have to at Compass Control. Why? Well, number one, until recently we didn't have a handheld remote for you to make money off of. One moment, my man. Number two, each iOS device can be totally unique with Compass Control. Where those other systems out there, you load your intelligence into their control processor hardware, and then an iPad comes in and it pulls the information from their master controller, and now they all just look exactly the same. Compass Control, you could have different iOS, you could have different looks and feels per user, different access, different control levels, privileges, if you will, per user. Okay? And because of that, everyone being unique, every iOS controller needs to interact with our cloud to get its project. And yes, hey you.
Is that professional license or is it annual?
Great question. Great question. It's not an annual, not a reoccurring unless you want it to be. Like I said before, we don't advertise the prices. So if you want to charge them yearly or monthly even for that matter, we won't tell on you. But it is just a one-time purchase. Okay? And it is even with a new device. They upgrade their phone. Hey, here was the old, what's called device ID. This is the unique identifier that each iOS controller has and gets married to that license. Here was the old device ID, here's the new. We need to transfer the license from one to the other. And that happens through key digital tech support though, not through, there's no web interface for you guys to do that or anything, okay?
Now, will the configuration automatically download from the cloud once you transfer the device?
No, so then you'll have to update your project as well. And so updating the project, see, you know you're on it today, or you're on it when in the training somebody asks a question, you just hit the next slide, and there it is, there's your answer. You're just helping me out left and right, my man. So here's something that's really super cool about Compass Control. iPads, of course, Apple doesn't like you to take a USB and load information into it, right? So it necessitated us to become creative about how are we going to get a project into these things. We went to a cloud. You're programming on your PC, it loads to a cloud, and then the iPad itself, you press a button that says Update Project, and it says, I'm device ID A7900, blah, 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 blah. And what is the latest project for me? So for example, my iPad, I've got hundreds and hundreds of projects in the cloud under my name, and it says, oh, A7900, here's the latest one, and it pulls that down into it, okay? So in your project, in that case, you just one ID, put in the new one, and post it again, and pull them down on all the iOS devices.
Okay, so does that mean I have to roll it up to the house, or can I upload it to the cloud and have the client download it while?
Great question. So remember, it's all through this cloud, and what we do, we have networks programmers. I have guys in Atlanta programming jobs in Colorado, and it's all because of this cloud. If you have your system up and running, customer says, hey, I just changed the Blu-ray player. I plugged in the HDMI, the video's working, but control's not working. Well, that was Panasonic, this is Samsung, so here's what you gotta do. You could just, from your office, from your home, wherever you are, change that code set over, which is actually done very easily with us, and update to the cloud, give Mr. or Mrs. Customer a jingle, say, hey, go ahead and press that Update Project button on each of the iOS devices. You do want to do it on all of them, and now they got the latest project version. So you send them the bill for the programming, but you don't have to send them the gas bill and the parking downtown bill and all of those things. Okay? Steve?
Q1 feature going from iOS to say Android, what would be the functionality there? New license necessary? Or just transfer? Or?
Yeah, that's a good question. Going from iOS to Android, it's probably just going to. Yeah, it's probably going to be the same as within iOS to iOS. The iOS is just, the Android is going to be exactly like the Compass app in iOS, basically. I'd imagine it'll be, we're not planning to make different license versions.
So,
good question.
Another question on that.
Okay.
Will I have to reprogram that whole system for the Android, or will it just, you tell it from an iOS to an Android device and it changes all the settings?
Well, this is a great question. When you're doing a custom project, the benefit of using a module is you just say, oh, I have an iPhone 6 Plus now, and because you've done a modular system, that screen size is already there and all the programming is ready for it. If you're doing a custom project, you essentially have to build each screen size. So it depends which way you're doing it. The modular, that's one of the benefits of the modular
So
system.
if you do modular, you just
Yeah.
switch it to an Android device and it'll automatically change everything and you can.
You got it. Yep.
Quick point here, and maybe you were going to mention this. There's that software you can download, and it has demo programs built into it that you can showcase, and there's a number of them available that download into the demo program, so you have a tool with you.
I was there. Yeah, it's very, very, very valuable. And if you really like one, add it to your archive, like I mentioned, because again, we cycle those out from time to time. Okay? So, or another benefit of the cloud, one more. You have a guy working for you. He's on vacation. He was the programmer. Oh, well, such and such is on vacation. It's going to be about 2 weeks then. Or you can tell Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer to press settings, and then you have a button that says about. It's got the project name in there. You can actually pull down from the cloud into your computer as well. Your cloud folder, or your folder in the cloud is not Eric's folder. It's your company name folder. So when you have your guys and gals working for you register, you're under one company name, and we check email domain as well as company name to line that up. So you're all working to and from the same place.
Can you restrict access to employees to get to certain files or?
No. It's just, if they have that access, you could say, for example, hey, such and such was fired. Need to please remove them from my company profile.
Right.
Then they'll have no access. Good. So now that's if the iPad's great, but again, remember the MC1000 can have events. If you're using the handheld remote, it can have events in it. If you want to schedule events, so every morning at 8:45, the projector turns on, the screen comes down, the lights go low for the 9 a.m. meeting, and it's very efficient that way. Then what you do there is you do need to load over a local area network. So you would have to load over the network into the MC1000. There's two things that actually require a local area network. One of them is loading into the MC1000. Another is that device ID I told you about on the iPad. That has to be manually generated, after when you're ready to make your iOS or your app into a live system. So there are, if you have customers and they're 5 hours away or halfway across the country, what I always recommend is get a little notebook PC and just have it there on site on that network. I'm just talking about, as a trainer, telling you about some of the things. Now, to work the system, it could be any kind of IP. It doesn't always have to be local, but some of these aspects there are going to require a local area network, okay, in your setup process.
Can you install the software on the customer's computer and use TeamViewer to log in?
Absolutely. Yep. When you log in, there's a password, your username, and then a password, and then it will be read-only mode if it's not registered. So the kid tries to open it up and mess around with it, Yeah. All right. Good questions. So for the hardware, we have our master controller, MC1000. And if you don't see it here, I got it all plugged in right now, but it's this guy. It's relatively small. Why? Because we wanted to make it so that it could fit on a shelf in a non-professional, non-rack mounted situation. Or if you need it in a rack for a centralized system, you could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. It doesn't matter because they're just going to occupy a unique IP address. Okay, so we built it to be a little more like a Swiss Army knife. It's got your IR learner on the front. So this is another reason why you want to buy into that promo today, so you can learn an IR codes if you need to. Zoom tight. You've got 6 what we call multi-function ports. They could be IR, bidirectional RS-232, so they're stereos. They could be voltage triggers or voltage sensors. Okay. We have a 3-port relay, the network where the iPad communicates in, or if the remote, I want to control my IP-controlled lighting system off of my remote. I can do that. The remote's going to communicate into here over the SIGME port, over the antenna, and then this can actually execute commands as well to the Lutron system or whatnot. Okay? So this here can set the thermostat, control the security panel, control the lights, shades, etc. Okay?
Did you say the 6 volts can be a 12-volt trigger as well?
Yeah. Yeah, 5 volts though. 5 volts.
5
Yeah.
volts.
This is a 5 volt. Yep. Yep, can do it all. Can do it all. So this is that compass control kit, the remote, the MC1000, and the necessary Zigbee antenna for this. And by the way, this could even just be programmed to be all IR, you know, line of sight. So you can do any kind of combination of through the Zigbee, through the MC1000, or line of sight IR. So the only thing you would need to buy on top of this is a license for Compass once you're ready to put it in your iPad if you're buying the starter kit. So the starter kit should really be CSL X1, that's our model number, Compass software license ×1 or 1 device only, and the CC Kit 1000. And for those of you guys doing classrooms and whatnot, we now have this 8-button keypad. It won't even require any iOS device in the system. It has toggle events, which means, for example, we got video 1, 2, 3, 4, up, down, power, and mute. So if I press power, I could have the screen on and off on it still. Okay, because bless you, that one press and then the other press can give you different events. And that leads us to the IQ series matrix. This is the other matrix switcher I told you I was holding out on showing you until here. Why? Because this is our digital video matrices with compass control built in. Okay? So everything integrated, a single box, a 4x4, just 4x4 video matrix is actually a 16-port master controller. So it's like 2 MC1000s. The 6x6 is a 26-port, and the 8x8 is a 32-port master controller. And how do we get there? How do we get there to the number 32? Well, first of all, I'll tell you about some video features on this. This is a 4K supported matrix system. It includes 4, 6, or 8 receive units in the box. On each output, you have the HDMI plus the HD base T, and they're both hot simultaneously. So it's almost like 16 active video ports, right? But they're going to show the same thing at the same time. Output 1 HDMI, output 1 CAT. So another great feature, this is a receive unit, POH. Power supply for the matrix, power supply for all 8 receive units. So behind each TV, you don't need to put this behind there and have a wall wart power it. Okay, so some really cool features. So how do we get to the number 32? Well, you see a block of 8 3.5s there. IR, bidirectional RS, or a voltage trigger. Okay? Then you have your 8 receive units that not only have the HDMI, but also have the 3.5 millimeter port as well. IR, RS, and trigger. Then we do something extremely unique. In fact, so unique it's a patented technology. On each of your 8 HDMI inputs and each of your 8 HDMI outputs, we actually embed IR, bidirectional RS, or a voltage trigger. And we make these cables, this is actually not the same thing, this one's female to male, but I accidentally brought these instead. On each of these HDMIs, where we make these cables, and you can plug in your IR flasher right here, or your IR or your RS-232, DB9 to a stereo adapter. Okay, so we sell these in packs of 4. IQ Jump 12 FM they're called, and what it is male to female. So actually, instead of having a 6-foot cable here, I can put these with any length cable. Okay, that's why we have that as a new version, male to female, and you can break out the control. You can use it in different ways as well. Say you have a fireplace and the customer is ready to do a proper control system instead of line of sight IR. Now you have a problem. Fireplace, all you got is the HDMI cable there. You can put one of these on each side of the HDMI cable, insert IR on one end, break it out on the other. Or they want to run audio return, because now we're using these smart apps in the television, and we got the external audio that could go over that same connector. It's a stereo port. External audio can go in and run backward to the equipment rack. Okay?
Without having to run a goddamn object.
That's right. That's right. You can do PCM on the tip. You know, PCM is essentially a mono connector, so you just need some adapter there, essentially. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, anybody, Sean, you're on the road a lot. You look like you eat relatively healthy, so don't take this the wrong way. But you ever go through the drive-thru?
Oh, yeah. Mine's choice every time.
Right. Well, this is the time I'm not going to eat fries. It's going to be healthy, right? And then in the bottom of that bag, you get that greasy-ass French fry down there, right? Or a seasoned curly, all right? Tater tot, right? That's called bonus fries. Well, guess what? This is your bonus port. That's actually the 33rd port. Why? This is what you used to have to use to control the system. Now it's built into it, so you can use that as a full 9-pin connector to a peripheral RS-232 device. So it's actually 17, 27, and 33 instead of 16, 26, and 32 ports, because you get those bonus fries right there. Anybody? Bonus fries? Okay, good. I hate to think I spent all this time coming up with a catchy way of saying it. It's not a real life thing. Limitations though, no voltage sensing as the MC1000 had. There's no Zigbee port, so if you need the handheld remote, you still need the MC1000. Now you can consolidate these 1 in 1 and no problem, or 2 in 1, and however, we'd love it if you did. But the Zigbee, in order to get this going and controlling things over Zigbee instead of just line of sight IR, then you need to have the MC1000. And one more limitation as well is this can't learn IR. Okay, I need to add that in there. Can't learn IR. So in other words, you still need that compass control starter kit. You're going to save like $600 by buying it today. Okay. So the GUI is a real mature way of saying it. I don't want to go into all the details because I'm getting closer to the time limit here, and I still want to show you the programming. But just know this. One time a guy, the very first year we showed compass control at Infocom, the guy came up and was like, oh, I saw that you were releasing this. I wanted to come by, but, no, don't mind me. I'm like, well, come on, man. What's your question? Spit it out. Well, okay, well, I do crush on for a long time. And how many button states do you have, right? Oh, 4. Whoa, 4 button states. In the analog world, down and up. You push a thing down, it pops back up, right? So down and up. We also have another called over. It's like status. It's like if I turn on something, I can have yet a third image associated with that so that it tells you the room's on, okay? And a 4th state, which is disabled, okay? You can't press it in that state, okay? Then you want it to have a grayed out image, okay? So 4 button states. Everything in here is like, you can do whatever you want. The answer is always yes, it comes. Okay, let's put it that way. You want to have a picture here and drag your finger across so that it sets the some color spectrum value based on either the percentage of the size of the image or by the pixels of the image. You can do that. Okay. So the answer is always yes there. And then I'll get into the programming now. And we are getting a little closer to 2. It's 10 till 2. Are there any questions? And I'll kind of... The programming is going to be very fast. Okay? It's going to be very fast, actually.
License applications in Key Digital are through...
Oh, to buy the licenses? Everything you buy is always through Skywalker. Yep. Here, I'm going to help you guys out. Everything you buy, you always go to Sky. How about that? Great question. That's the most important question all day, actually. All right. So, we're going to pretend little old Jonathan here has never done compass control before. I've opened up that starter kit I bought for $1.99, and I want to start programming a system with my MLB that I bought for, I don't know, $2,000 or whatever it is, okay? And I have this Onkyo AV receiver, and I have that projector, and I even have the ability to watch cameras in there. We have a video streaming player support, okay? We can actually embed the web in compass control, okay? Now, I've never worked with this one before, but the principle, it'll work there. Yeah, that. And I've worked with them before too, but if I make a mistake, it would have happened anyway. Blu-ray player, I have actually an Apple TV here as well, but I have my iPad, and of course my MC1000. Now, a rule of compass control, you always need at least one master controller, okay? Even if I had an all-IP system, and I told you I don't need any ports for my master controller to do that, I still need at least one. We aren't in it to not sell black boxes, and you guys shouldn't be either, okay? I mean, you definitely know Skywalker isn't in for black boxes, okay? So there you go.